is yours. Go!
Hello and welcome to a fully finals edition of the NBL1 show thanks to Coles Express. Megan Hustwaite and Pete Hooley with you at the desk. And Pete, we are fully in finals in every conference around the country.
Well, it's exciting. We've seen game winners, game-winning dunks. We've seen big plays, as always, throughout the entire NBL1 season. But we're slowly getting towards the end and it's getting really exciting. We've seen some MVPs crowned, so there's a lot to get through.
So East, West and South begin finals action this week. North and Central head into week 2. And we've got all the information you could ever need to know about finals. But we are going to start with the wild card because it is wild.
Well, it is. The Frankston Blues, they've locked their spot into the national final. So they got that wild card spot. It turns out that that game against the COE was very crucial in terms of them getting to the top of the ladder.
Talked about that last week,
we spoke to Dylan Stith. And so they're going to be there. And another team that they're playing good basketball at the right time of the season. So they'll be looking forward to that. And, of course, they'll be really doing the best they can to make sure that when it comes to that they're a team nobody wants to face.
They join the women's Southern District Spartans as the first 2 teams in the Coles Express NBL1 National Final, which is super exciting. As we head into some finals action now, we're going to go up north and start with the women's action. They had some awards last week, which was fantastic to see. Of course, you can catch all that information across our socials and the app, but congratulations to Northside Wizards' Tiana Magakar here, who took out the NBL1 North MVP. She averaged a conference-high 28.8 points per game and was second in assists per game with 7.4, leading the Wizards to the first round of the finals. The NBL1 North women's semi-finals will take place this weekend as the undefeated Logan Thunder face Abby Cabillo's Brisbane Capitals on Saturday at 7 p.m, while the Southern District Spartans will take on the Townsville Flames at 7 p.m. Pete, all the action on nbl1.com.au or the NBL1 app. Some massive games coming up there in week 2.
Oh, a big congrats to Tiana. We spoke to her and what a story and what a season that she's put together. I think some really big things are in store for her. And we spoke a lot. The MVP could have gone to anyone. Michaela Roof, what a season she had. Kayla George missed a few games. But in the end, I think that's a very worthy winner. We look at some other recaps around the Thunder. They took down the Dolphins 90-62 on Sunday night. Logan's Ziggy Koiza had 26 and 5. Kayla George, she had only shot 3 or 14 from the field, but still had 14, 13 and 7. So we know what she can do, finding other ways to impact the game when you struggle to shoot the ball. Michaela
Roof, 13 and 5. Well, we talk about Michaela Roof all season, and fair enough, she's been an unstoppable force for Logan. I want to talk about Michaela Can, who's a veteran in NBL1 and also WNBL Championship player, formerly with Townsville. She had a baby, little baby Dallas, on July 22. She played 8 days later.
I saw this on Facebook and I couldn't quite believe it. That is absolutely insane and incredible, and I don't know, let's keep describing it. I was lost for words.
Women are amazing. Women are powerhouses. Women are Wonder Women. Now, Michaela's got 2 kids. And then had baby Dallas. So she's got 3 kids, a baby at home, and she is back on court for Logan, playing in finals. It's just a magnificent story. So go you, good thing.
It's unbelievable. As we move on, after beating in round 15, the Capitals took down the Wizards in the semi-finals 81-66. Abby Cabillo, 17 points, 8 assists and 5 rebounds in that win.
And we had Abby on the show a few weeks ago, the best Zoom background we've had of the year with Abby up in sunny Brisbane.
You do love your backgrounds. You like the plain ones. You also like the palm trees as well.
The palm trees and the blue skies. But she has signed with Adelaide Lightning in the WNBL since as well. So loving the form that she's putting together heading into a WNBL season under Nat Hurst at the Adelaide Lightning. The Spartans easily took care of USC by 34 points at home. That was quite a big margin in the end. Liz Scott had 34 points and 7 rebounds in the win. Talk to me, Pete, about Townsville.
Well, they beat Mackay by 20 on Saturday. Courtney Woods had 32 points, 8 threes from 14 attempts. Steph Reed had 18 and 10 in that win.
And interesting, we'll talk about the Opals towards the end of the show because they have announced their 12-player team for the Women's World Cup in Sydney next month. But Alana Smith unfortunately for her, didn't make the 12, but it means she's going to be available for a full final series. So that is Townsville's gain.
Oh, absolutely.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's disappointing on an individual level, but it's going to make them really tough to beat.
Let's move on to the men's action now in NBL1 North, and we're talking about MVPs. Pete, talk to me about the men's MVP because he has had a sterling season.
Well, he has. USC's Rip City's Kawat, he won the NBL1 North MVP, averaged 28.5 points a game and 13 rebounds. They play the Marlins on Saturday night in the semi-final. We spoke to him earlier in the season, and he basically sat here and said, I want to be MVP. And he said there's no reason why he shouldn't be MVP. He thinks there's nobody who can stop him. And he went and he walked the walk, talked the talk, and then followed it up. So big congrats to him. I think he's in for a big season ahead for the Kings in the NBL. Semi-final start on Saturday. The Rollers will host the Wizards. We're about to chat to one of their special stars soon. Rip City will take on the Marlins at 7:30 on Saturday as well. As always, jump online to nbl1.com.au or the NBL1 app.
Well, let's recap now because there's plenty of drama and action to recap from week 1 of the finals, and Tanner Krebs rescued the Rollers with an OT corner 3 to give them the lead and eventually the win against the Thunder on Friday night, 102-100. Not only a close game, but a high-scoring one. Logan was missing Jeremy Kendall, but put up a huge fight against the top of the ladder team.
Don't help off the strong side corner, especially not when you got Tanner Krebs in that corner. Big knockdown there. The Marlins moved on to the next round on the back of Lat Mayen's clutch shot that sent the game into OT. He finished with 37 points. This is a really clutch shot from Lat Mayen. And the MVP, Kawat, he took the USC past the Salties in a 3-point win on Saturday, had 30 points and 15 rebounds. Tad Dufemire, he was a star for the Salties with 21, 10 and 7. Ending what was a really great first season. It's great to see the Salties in the league, but they were really exciting. Fans were packing the stands all season long.
And you were wearing the singlet from Day Dot?
Was wearing that singlet. Still have that waiting for the summer. It's -5 here in Melbourne.
Yeah, and to maybe get a bit of a tan.
Impossible for me. Impossible for me.
The highlights came thick and fast in finals action at the weekend, and in a game of all of them, the Wizards escaped with a win against the Mackay Meteors 98-96. Anthony Drmic had a game-winning dunk in OT to seal the win. He finished with 42 points and 11 rebounds. Keanu Pinder almost had a 5x5.
He had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals and 3 blocks. The Galloways combined for 43 points in a close loss. Shane Hill tweeted about it, but I thought the same thing. I was watching this game live. That is an incredible out-of-bounds play with the game on the line, the way that it was drawn up to execute it like that, when everyone probably knew it was going to Anthony Drmic after he already had 40 points, to still get him the ball in that situation. That is extremely well coached and well executed, and that's probably why they are going to be really tough to beat going forward.
Ice cold. Well, one of the Wizards joins us now on the NBL1 show as we welcome Kevin White. Thanks for joining us.
No worries at all. Just, happy we got through that one and on to Gold Coast.
Do you take some confidence out of having such a tight win first up in the finals?
Yeah, I think so. One of the learning experiences for us is we had a lot of close games that we dropped in that little kind of losing streak. So to win that game on the road in Mackay was huge for us and huge for the young guys, I think, in terms of their confidence. And we're going to need that rolling into Gold Coast after we were up 9 going into the last quarter and dropped that game a few weeks ago.
Well, talk to me a bit about the confidence just walking out and looking to your left and right and seeing a full roster. I mean, you've got a really talented roster when they're all together, but there's been absences galore throughout the season. So that obviously would fill you with a bit more confidence in the finals. Yeah,
for sure. We're still a little iffy on where Macca will be, if he'll be with us or in Bahrain. But, we've got a roster that we could probably stack up against most NBL benches and, some starting fives, but we're pretty happy with how the group's gone. We had to win the rest of the season once those guys returned from their duties with Australia, and we did that. And we're just happy we've got an opportunity to play for a championship.
What's been the most impressive part about other players stepping up, the youngsters, in the absence of those key guys like Macca, like Keanu Pinder? Because the role clarity, it's always nice to have, but it's been changing. Do you take a bit more onus on yourself as a veteran to say to these young guys or even yourself, look, we're missing guys, we've got to step up here. When they come back, things will go back to normal. How do you deal with that throughout the season?
It's been a bit tough, to be honest, because we've got guys that, Javan Mumtaz played big minutes for Bendigo last year. He was crucial for us when the guys were away, and now he finds himself trying to slide into 5-10 minutes if that's warranted. So it's been a bit tough, but they've been unreal. Like, Deshaun's been amazing for us off the bench as a guard. Like on the weekend, I was happy to just let the coaches roll with him and take a seat on the bench and watch this young kid play, because that's the beauty of the sport right now. Young kids everywhere across the league are getting more and more impressive, and I'm just glad they're getting opportunities with this league, and hopefully we see a lot more of them playing in the NBL in the next few years.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something I wanted to talk to you about today. Was your career's in a different path right now in terms of these young guys coming through in Australian basketball, both in the men's and women's side. It's on the up, and we see so many young stars shining. How does it feel to be a part of this, to see these youngsters, to maybe impart a little bit of wisdom and a bit of help them to get to their next step? It must be pretty rewarding.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, when I was a young guy getting out of college, I had the likes of Ben Knight, James Harvey. Madge was one of my teammates who was also a young rookie. And then, you know, I was fortunate enough to move to Illawarra, where guys like Reece Martin, Oscar Foreman took me under their wing. And, you know, trying to do that for young guys these days, where the springboard for them is just so much larger than what we had when we first got in the league. You know, to work with Luke Travers, Wani Swaka a couple of years ago, and now to see these young guys like Luel Ding and Deshaun and have an opportunity to help them grow has just been kind of cool, especially to see LT's journey that he had in the off-season with Cleveland, and now to be back here. It's special, it's rewarding, but it's just a testament to basketball in Australia in general, and the people that are around it, because I don't think we get there without everyone's buy-in as a community and as a country.
You've talked us through being sort of the young buck at the start of your journey. Now you're an older head. What have you enjoyed most about this NBL1 season?
Probably the reconnecting relationships with people I haven't seen for years. I played in pretty much every league except for Queensland. So to get up here and be back with Drim, who I spent some time in Adelaide with, you know, played Macca throughout my career, to hang out with him and learn a bit more about him. And then Keanu's someone whose dad was around when I was a junior in Sydney, and floated in and out of our sessions when I was a young kid. So to connect with Keanu and get to know him and learn a bit more about him has been special. But then connecting with friends along the way. Reece Martin played on the weekend, and like I said, he was someone who was massive in my journey when I was a junior. And growing up, just to see him again and play against him in what could have been either of our final games was just special. So just the relationships and the people I've got to catch up with along the way.
And a little bit about your career, I mean, especially the last few years. I mean, the whole time throughout your journey, you've epitomised starring in your role, whatever that is on whatever given night. And I remember a couple of years ago, obviously in the NBL, when players were out and you needed to step up, you did that. But it seemed every single time that a coach asked something of you, you would deliver it. What's that piece of advice you've got for players who perhaps find it a little harder to start in their role coming through the ranks?
Yeah, far out. That's a good question, Pete. I don't know. I think, like, I've always wanted to win. I've always wanted to help however I could, and whether that's sit on the bench and cheer or notice something and try help a coach, or whether that's try and score the ball if someone's out and injured, then I've always tried to put myself in a position where I can do that and help the team. And I think that's probably what's missed now, is you've got to prepare as if you are going to have 30 or need to have 30, but you've also got to prepare that you may need to, you know, at times pick something up on the court that isn't going the right way, and it might be a little bit of advice you can flick to an assistant coach or a coach and help the team win that way. And the preparation is a key to that success. And I think if you plan for both those things during the week, no matter what gets thrown at you when it comes time for your number to be called or whether it's not called, you're ready and you're prepared for those situations. And I feel like that's somewhere where I've grown throughout my career.
So let's take a look at this week. You've got the Rollers who are on a bit of a roll, Krebs and Kadee in good form. What are you expecting in this big final?
I think it'll be pretty fast paced. I know there's going to be a lot of shots taken on both sides of the floor, and we'll just see how we go. They're an impressive lineup. Like I said, we were up 9 on the road and gave that up, and I think they put 30 on us in the last quarter. So they can score the ball, and I mean, they got out of a bit of a jam themselves on the weekend. So it's going to be fun to play those guys. I spent a lot of time with Jace early in our careers in Sydney. So it's just nice to be at the back end of the career playing against guys in games that mean something, because this is why you train, this is why you play, and this is why you want to compete against your mates. So it's going to be exciting. Whoever goes through it will, I'm sure they'll encourage and pat the other team on the back. But hopefully we can get a win and march on.
Before we let you go, you mentioned shots there. I've always wanted to ask you this. So I've commentated a lot of your games, played against you in the NBL. Is there a certain arena that you love to shoot at? Because I named you as, you mentioned Jason Kadee, 2 John Cain Arena specialists. I can't remember you missing too many shots any time you played in Melbourne. Was there a certain mindset that you got in every time you stepped on the floor there? Because you seem to enjoy shooting there.
No, I love Melbourne. I don't know what it is. Like, walking into that gym just felt so comfortable every time I played there. And probably, it's kind of the mindset too. A lot of people worry about the ball they use, or I remember walking into John Cain and we had the roof back maybe one game, and people were complaining about the wind, and I was like, this is like playing high school basketball out outside at lunch. Like, this is where we played the majority of our basketball growing up, and I think that's something that's always just stuck with me, is the ring's still 10 foot, a ball's a ball, and if you're going to shoot it like it's going in. And that's something that probably later in my career I've really believed in, my ability to shoot it. But I just enjoyed John Cain, and playing in Melbourne has always been a fun thing for me. So that's probably why.
Well, I definitely enjoyed calling it, not so much when I had to guard it, because as I said, you didn't miss too many. Mate, thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend, and good luck for whatever's next. It's been a pleasure to watch you grow throughout your journey, and as I said, when it comes to starring in your role, there's not too many better than you. So thanks, mate, and good luck.
Appreciate it, guys, and hopefully we're in the grand final, and we'll meet you down in Melbourne for the national finals.
Geez, can you imagine if they get to the finals in Melbourne, given how much he likes playing here?
Oh,
watch out.
Exactly, that's one of the reasons I spoke about it. And also, if that does happen, we might just have to tell Mitch McCarron there's more important things than Boomer's stuff as well around the time. So we'll deal with that. You just make sure you get there, and we'll make the phone call to Matt.
I already called Mike Kelly and tried to offer my services to Australia as the captain and leave Mitch with Northside, but he wasn't having that, and told me it was a decision far above his pay grade. So I don't know what Mike's taking, but that didn't work.
Well, you got to get there first, but hopefully with the squad you've got, the good things happen. So good luck, mate. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Let's take a look at NBL1 South action now, because finals starts this weekend, an action-packed final round locked in the spots. The winners of the qualifying final will advance to the preliminary final, while the losers will face the winners of the eliminations.
And there you have a look on your screen. It's going to be in the qualifying finals, Braves versus Spectres, 5 p.m. on Saturday, Hawks versus the Pioneers at 6 p.m. in the elimination finals, Supercats versus Launceston. Really looking forward to that one. That's going to be a really exciting game. And the Raiders play the Falcons as well. As always, jump online and make sure you catch all of that.
Congratulations to two-time Olympian and World Cup bronze medalist Rachel Jarry, who retired at the weekend, played her final game. It was with Sandringham. She had 15 points and 7 rebounds. That was in a loss to Eltham. I was at that game. Annalee Maley was her usual animal self for 27 points, 22 rebounds, but backed up the next day with a triple, 13, 15 and 11. So a huge weekend from Annalee as Eltham finished their season on a high with 2 weekend wins.
You mentioned the Opals that are locked in. I mean, what a story this is. I mean, there's going to be a lot of buzz around Lauren Jackson, and rightly so, but Annalee Maley, we spoke to her last season. From where she's got to in just about 18 to 24 months, it is incredible. She's so fun to watch, and really just said that no one can stop her the way she plays, and just kept sticking to it, and now she is an Opal in the World Cup.
And it's really this year, it's a captive year, because as we know, we set her targets for Eltham last year in NBL1.
We can take a lot of the credit. Absolutely.
So had a great NBL1 season with Eltham, moved from Sydney to Bendigo. It was really her second half of the WNBL season. So you look at January to the April finish, where she's won a league MVP, got a contract with Chicago Sky, played in the WNBA, got cut, but meant that she could come home and make her debut for the Opals. And she really was in that 12 without a doubt. She wasn't one of the final calls, and there were a few final calls to make. It is an incredible story.
Bit happening in her life, and it's all well deserved. So looking forward to seeing her take stage in Sydney later. Now the Braves, they went 2-0 over round 16, beating Kilsyth on Saturday and the Miners on Sunday. They secured top spot and knocked out Ballarat as well.
But we've got to talk about Tess Madgen, because she, as we've said before, has to be one of the favourites for the South MVP. She had a 70-point weekend, starting with 40 points on Saturday night. She's been huge. And for these girls that have been in and out of the team because of Opal commitments, come back from New York, she just hasn't missed a beat.
Oh, she's been really fun to watch as well. And you're right, definitely a favourite. I can't see too many getting in there to probably take it off her. But
I think it's probably Tess and Keeley.
Well, it'll come down to some interesting votes. We know that the MVP system's done differently in each conference. Kelsey Griffin, Keeley's teammate, she scored a final spot against Hobart on Saturday, had 32 and 18. Keeley had 25 and 10 in the win.
Yeah, a huge double-double for Keeley. She's had an incredible season and won the Torns MVP as well, so congrats to Keeley. As we move on to South men's action now, and as we touched on with South women's, the spots are all locked in for the finals. So same go, qualifying final, winners advance to the prelim, losers take on the winners of the elimination final. What have we got coming up this weekend, Pete?
Well, what we've got is some really big qualifying finals. The Chargers, who've been flying all season long, against the Sabres with Shay Ely, Dave Barlow, Smith Milner rolling around. The Pioneers versus Kilsyth. Kilsyth have gone about this season so quietly. They are just a really well constructed team. They're going to be really tough to beat. So they are the qualifying finals. The Elim finals are the Braves versus Knox, and then Frankston versus Geelong, all on Saturday.
I love with this sort of final system in any sport, especially with elimination finals, because the winners, there's always a case to mount around elimination final winners having that confidence going in against the losers of the qualifying final. Knox and Geelong in particular, who knows what's possible with those? I wouldn't want, if they win, I wouldn't want to play them in the coming week.
Well, I'll go on a limb and say that I think that one of those qualifying final teams will win. I think they've just been a step above for the rest of the season. But anything can happen. You roll the ball out there, absolutely anything can happen. Knox, they had 2-0 effort over round 16. They won on Saturday by 2 against Ringwood, 27 points from Ruben Tarangi. On Sunday, they played Keilor at home and won by 14. Alex Robertson, he had 19 and 7 in the win.
Has anyone signed him to NBL yet?
I forgot that you were his manager. That was pretty early on.
Manager.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if they have yet, but you'll be working on that, manager.
Clubs, call me. Let's sign him up for the upcoming NBL season. The Pioneers went 1-1 on the weekend, smashing Ballarat by 32, losing to the Falcons by 7 on Saturday. Michael Harris was outstanding, as he always is, averaging 22.5 points, as he was just picked up by the Perth Wildcats as a development player. That's a great story.
Well, it is. It's what the NBL1 is for. You're going to get looked at from NBL and WNBL clubs. John really's seen enough that he wants to reward the young fellow, and he's an exciting prospect for the future.
Let's take a look out west now at NBL1 West action. They had their big awards at the weekend. Hey, I want to give NBL1 West so much love, because they have an award for everything and everyone. And I love it, because they recognise everyone in basketball, and that's how it should be.
Well, it should be, and I'm waiting for one of our producers out the back to bring up the fact that I lost my child modelling Wheel of Fortune. I thought that was where we were going in terms of some sort of award for everything, so I was waiting for that. Luckily I don't have an earpiece in, so I didn't get told that. But the awards were done, and Warwick Stacey Barr, she won the NBL1 West Women's MVP, 22.5 points, 8.5 rebounds. They finished 18-2, outstanding season.
Powerhouse. So women's finals locked in, same go as South, winners of the qualifying finals. Advance to the prelims, losers face the winners of the elimination finals. Pete, let's take a look at the qualifying and elimination final matchups for the women this weekend.
Well, the Wolves will play the Magic, Senators will play the Tigers. That first game is on Friday night, the second one is on Saturday. Elimination final, Cougars versus the Hawks, and then the Lightning versus Flames. This is my kind of favourite style, as you mentioned, of the finals. They're all very different through the conferences, but this is definitely my favourite, because I've probably been a part of it, a bit biased.
Yeah, that's okay, you can be. let's have a look at the action from the weekend. Joondalup finished the season on a high, 7-point winners over East Perth. Tage Morrell, 40 points, 16 rebounds and 4 assists as the Wolves secured the second seed in the conference finals. Team MVP Robbie Ryan, we had her on the show a couple of weeks ago. She's injured. She's got a calf tear from round 15, but Tage stepped up in her absence, which she does. We had her on the show last year. She won it all. She's a winner. She steps up, expecting a huge few weeks from her, but Robbie Ryan is on track to return this week.
And Warwick beat the Redbacks on Friday, 90-69, a dominant season from the Wolves. It's the Senators who have snuck up and stole that number one spot. Chloe Forster scored 25 points, had 8 rebounds and 7 assists. Warwick come into the finals matchup against Willerton on a 3-game streak.
Let's take a look at the men's action now as we take a look at the NBL1 West men's final bracket there. Pete, huge weekend coming up. But first of all, congratulations to the one and only MVP of the men's, Javondrick Walker. Surprise, surprise.
I mean, surprise. What a season he had. Conference high, 27 points per game, 5.8 rebounds and just under 4 assists. They finished 18-4 and they'll face the Wolves on Saturday. And a special shout out, Joel Wagner. He retired this weekend after playing 395 games for the Redbacks. Well, that's an incredible knock.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And, you know, we do obviously talk about NBL, WNBL, Boomers, Opals, you know, all the representatives. Of course, we talk about them when they do play in NBL1, but it's the people like Joel that are just the heart and soul and the fabric of this competition. So, yeah, huge, huge effort. Congratulations on a magnificent career.
Well, let's have a look at the finals now because you saw the bracket, the qualifying finals. The Buccaneers play the Cougars on Saturday. The Flames play the Wolves. That's going to be a really good matchup. Elimination finals sees the Senators take on Perry Lakes and the Giants take on the Magic. Again, jump online to nbl1.com.au or the app to see all of those finals take place.
The app's going to be rocking all weekend long. Let's take a look at the action from the weekend. And Geraldton locked in top spot on the ladder with a massive win over East Perth. This was a huge result and margin in the end, 121-66. Cameron Coleman, 26 points, 4 assists and 4 steals in the win. They faced the Cougars on Saturday night.
And the Wolves beat East Perth on Friday by 6. It was a close one. Jonathan Wade had 28 points and 8 rebounds. And CJ Turnage, what a season he's had, 18 points as they'll face the Flames and Javondrick Walker on Saturday.
Let's take a look at NBL1 East action now. Heading into finals, we'll start with the women, and this is the way it's going to play out. The top 2 seeds, the Sharks and the Bandits, advance to the semi-finals, while the remaining 4 teams will battle it out in elimination games this weekend, and they are, Pete?
Well, Newcastle will play Manly on Saturday and the North Bears will play Illawarra on Saturday.
How's that for a double-header afternoon of women's hoops? All the action, of course, on nbl1.com.au or the app. We start with the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, as usual. LJ off to Sydney next month, part of the 12-player team for the Women's World Cup. But she put up 40 and 25 in the win over Hills Hornets at home in the final round.
She's taking the mickey. That's really the politest way to put it. 40 and 25 in the big win. Unique Thompson, who we spoke to, she had 18 and 11. And that big duo, completely unstoppable. But in just over 20-odd minutes, I think LJ did. So, I mean, again, it's weird to say that she's playing one of her best basketball at this age, leading into the World Cup. But 40 and 25, I don't care where you are, where you're playing. That's tough to do. We
talked about Annalee Maley. We've talked about LJ every week, and fair enough this year. But I think you've just got to sit back and look at how remarkable this story is, because it's got every element of a fairy tale sports comeback story, not just in Australia, but, you know, in world sport.
Oh, no doubt. And whether she plays 20 minutes a game, 5 minutes a game, doesn't play much at all throughout the World Cup, just her presence alone around the Opals is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be much needed. And really, it's going to help, not that we need any help, but to pack stands even more to make sure that there's not a seat left in the house for those World Cup games for the Opals. I can't wait to see what happens when they roll the ball out. And big congrats, obviously, to LJ. The emotions poured over. And we spoke to her earlier in the season. She definitely
gave us the hint, though.
Gave us the hint, but she also flat out lied to us when she said that she wasn't thinking too far ahead. I think she knew deep down what she wanted to get to, but wasn't sure perhaps if it was going to be possible if her body would allow. So big congrats to her, and I cannot wait to see it.
And we had Unique Thompson on the show last week too, and we speak every week about imports and players making waves in NBL1 and attracting WNBL. and NBL attention. She told us she's going to Russia. I heard a WNBL coach at the weekend who was sitting behind me, very interested in her, and love to see that because it's a great story and it shows how incredible this league is. So,
well, I mentioned against
that
we'll see unique in Australia after this.
Two of the best teams faced off on Sundays. The Sharks beat the Falcons by 3. Sutherland's Lauren Nicholson, 27.7 assists and 4 rebounds after a 30-piece on Saturday. The Falcons' Nicole Munger had 20 points and 14 rebounds in the loss, and spoke about her a few weeks ago, setting the record for most points scored in an NBL1 game. You just get the feeling she's going to have a big finals. Yeah,
looking forward to seeing how that plays out as we move on to the men. The finals are locked in. The top 2 seeds, Maitland and the Gunners, advance to the semi-finals, while the elimination games will see Newcastle play Sutherland, Illawarra play the North Bears. So it's hard not to talk too much about the NBL1 East without mentioning Kiwi Gardner. He had a massive round 18, averaged 37 points and a win against Sutherland and a loss to Maitland. So they're going to play North Bears on Saturday. And the North Bears, they slipped down to 5th over the past 2 rounds. It was down to them against the COE, who they got handed to in the wild card, which potentially could have got them that spot, but in the end it goes to Frankston.
Well, if Kiwi and the Hawks get to the national final in Melbourne, you never know who he might come up against. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see.
Looking forward to that.
The Gunners, we love the Gunners, came away with a close win on Saturday. 2-point winners against the Central Coast. Glenn Morrison scored 17 points. And a shout out to our Gunners supporting friends on Twitter.
Well, they're excited, and so they should be.
Oh, so they should be.
Another reason to hopefully get the job done and come down to Melbourne for the national finals.
Let's go to Central now and take a look at women's action, and it's congratulations to another winning MVP. Surprise, surprise, who was the winner here?
Sam Simons. She won the NBL1 Central Women's MVP, had an outstanding season, just under 22 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists. Led her team in all 3 categories. The Eagles made it to the elimination final, but were just unfortunately knocked out by the North Flames.
Semis this weekend, Pete?
It'll start Saturday. The Flames will take on the losers of the qualifying final, the South Adelaide Panthers. Bearcats will taste their first finals action on Saturday as they take on the Sabres at 3 o'clock. Central time. As
we take a look at the bracket now and move on to some recaps from the weekend. The qualifying final saw Sturt beat the Panthers 69-55. Sabres star Michaela Williams had 13 points and 17 rebounds in the win. Sturt shot at just 18.5% from the 3 in the game, but still managed to pull off the win. So they'll take heaps out of that.
Well, they will for sure. And a team that will take heaps out of that weekend, the elimination final, Norwood beat Forestville 78-57. The Eagles only shot 30% from the field. Sam Simons, she had just 14 points. Molly Coleman had 24 points and 18 rebounds. And our next guest had a quiet 24 points. A team you don't want to face when they're having some fun playing the game. And that's what they are now in the Norwood Flames. And that's Brooke Basham.
Yeah, that is Brooke Basham. And she joins us on the NBL1 show now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It was a bit of a heart stopper. What kind of confidence do you take out of it?
Yeah, I think we're really confident. Yeah, it was a little bit tight the whole game, but yeah, we sort of won by 20, so we feel confident going into next round.
And it's kind of been that story the whole season long. When you're playing your best basketball, it's really tough to beat you guys. What's been the secret to success for the way you play?
Yeah, I think when we start really well, we tend to win. When we rebound and push the break, we look really good as well. So yeah, I think we're pretty tough to stop.
So we know that you switched teams at the end of last season. What was it like to knock Forestville out?
Yeah, it was all right. It was good. Yeah, told Sam Simons about it. So, it was good.
Well, we're just watching a little bit of the highlights there, and you mentioned when you're getting out and playing fast, but it really looks like the secret to success for you guys is having fun playing. And we know Ali Wilson running around out there with you. Is it a lot of fun to be playing part of this group?
Yeah, it's fun. I think playing on this team is the most fun I've had. And yeah, I think when we're just playing tough, free, we're having fun, and then that's when we play our best for sure.
When we had you on the show last year, we asked you about your partner, Ali Wilson, and at that stage, you guys were opponents, but you were, still playing in the backyard and really challenging each other. Your teammates now, she's had an incredible year and just come back from the Commonwealth Games with a bronze medal. How proud are you of her and her achievements?
Yes, so proud. Yeah, it was really, really special watching her at an international level. Yeah, I was waking up in the middle of the night or staying up late watching her. Yeah, and it was just really, really amazing to watch her, and the world can see what she can do. So yeah, it was good.
Well, it's actually shown that not just her, both of you, when you're playing together, you're one of the toughest duos in NBL1 around the country. We've seen it, especially high scoring. Do you have any moments maybe when she's got the ball out on the three and you're sitting in the corner where you just sit back and think, how did you manage to knock that in, or how did you manage to see that play ahead of it? Because she's a very exciting player to watch, but as I said, when you're both up and running, you're extremely exciting together.
Yeah, all the time, like she'll do stuff and I don't even know what's happened. But yeah, it's so easy to play with her. She sees everything before it happens. So as her teammates, you just have to be ready for a pass and ready for a catch and shoot, because it's probably going to find it too.
So semi-finals this weekend. You've got the Panthers. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, they're super tough. I think they'll be up and about. They lost the first final, so. Yeah, we've definitely got to come ready to play for sure.
Well, we're excited to see you two back in action this weekend. We know no matter where you finish on the ladder, if you're playing really good basketball, you're going to be tough to beat. So good luck this weekend. Hopefully you continue the wins rolling, and hopefully we see you in Melbourne for the national final if you can get the job done over the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
As we take a look at Central men's action now, Pete, and congratulations to a South Adelaide Panther.
Jeremy Smith, he won the MVP in Central, well deserved. He had 26.5 points, leading the league in scoring, and led the Panthers to the semi-final where they'll play the Warriors.
Semi-finals start Saturday as the losers of the qualifying final, the Forestville Eagles, take on the winner of the elimination final, the Norwood Flames, Saturday night, 7 p.m. local time, and the semis continue at 7:30 p.m.
As the minor premiers, Woodville, they'll face the winners of the qualifying final in the Panthers. As we look back on last weekend, the Flames advanced to the semis after beating North by 6 in an elimination final. Raymond Harding had 28, 8 and 5, while the Rockets' Riley Harrop had a game-high 29 points in the loss.
And then Alex Startling carried the Panthers on to the next round with 32 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists and 5 steals. That's a great stat line in a big final as they beat the Eagles 105-90. Conference MVP, as Pete mentioned, Jeremy Smith had 19 points in the win. I'll let you talk about DJ because it's your thing.
Well, had 19, 7 and 6, not enough to get the win. That's a big win over the Eagles, who we expected they're going to cause some damage. They still get another chance, so looking forward to seeing how that goes. And big things heating up in every conference, and we're going to be one step closer to finding out who our national champion is.
The anticipation is real, isn't it? Like I like how it's staggered around the conferences. So we've had a few finals start. We've got some finals starting this weekend. We've had some upsets already. Yeah, it's going to be a huge weekend. We've mentioned the Opals throughout the show, but congratulations to the 7 NBL1 players who have made the 12-player team for next month's Women's World Cup in Sydney. So more than half the team have regularly played in NBL1 this season. Sarah Blitzarv, Darcy Garbin, Kayla George, Lauren Jackson, Tess Madgen, Annalee Maley and Mariana Tolo. So congratulations to all of those super women.
Oh, it's a big squad. It's an exciting squad, and I cannot wait to see the Opals running around on home soil, and especially with those names.
Well, we cannot wait for all the finals action ahead in NBL1 this weekend. Make sure you stay glued to our social media channels where there'll be all the highlights and all the action, and of course the games live on NBL1.com.au and the NBL1 app. We'll see you next Tuesday.
It's one shot, not a